back to my channel. So today I'm going to be making something new for me. It has been a true struggle to find all-purpose flour in the market. So the one thing that I can find is chickpea flour or garbanzo bean flour. I remembered that I had pulled a couple of recipes over the last, 20 years out of magazines for something called Socca, which is basically a chickpea flour flatbread. And the name Socca is actually the French terminology for it. In Italian, there's another name for it. It's called farinata. So either way you call it, it's the same thing. I'm going to show you what I use. I kind of made some notes comparing the two recipes together. So this is me troubleshooting this and crossing my fingers that it works out. So very simply, I have some chickpea flour measured out. I also measured out some water. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of it or I'm going to add more, but this is going to be my starting point. And then I have a good pinch of salt that I'm going to add to the flour before the water. The one other thing you're going to want to do, you want to plan this out just a little bit ahead of time because it's going to need a little time to rest. At least a couple of hours. You can do this the night before though, if you'd like. But I want to add my water a little bit at a time, and this is so that not too many lumps form. And I'm working it like this just so nothing spills out. I like to work with high-sided bowls just because for me it makes it a bit easier. And then this I want to continue to whisk until the mixture is smooth. And I might add a little more water. This is the consistency that I want. It's quite thick and ribbony, and I'm going to let this sit on the counter for at least 2 hours, and then I will come back and check on it. My batter is still resting. It's not quite ready yet, so in the meantime, I do want to prepare a few different toppings. Based on the amount of batter that I have, I think I have enough for 3 soccas. So I'm using a cast iron pan, but the diameter of my pan is rather small. I would say maybe 7 inches or so. So I'm going to prepare 3 different toppings to have kind of like a sampler. First off, I'm still working on this. I'm caramelizing a sweet onion, and I just got this cooking in a combination of olive oil and a little bit of butter for flavor. And it has a pinch of salt and pepper. So this is still going to go for like at least 10 minutes more, but we'll see. So I'm going to be playing around with 3 different toppings. Starting from the left, I have some burrata cheese, and I'm going to do some fresh zucchini on top of that. And in the jar behind that is the last of my slow roasted tomatoes. I will have that link down below in case you haven't had a chance to look at it yet. And then I'm going to be utilizing some fresh parsley and cilantro. I have my second topping, which is going to be a cumin and coriander roasted carrot with some green onion and fresh avocado. And then I'm going to do my balsamic caramelized onions with some olive tapenade and a sprinkling of oregano. It's been a little bit more than a couple of hours. I did go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil to the batter, and that's going to be for flavor. Other than the salt, I'm not going to season this, not even with pepper. I'm just going to leave it plain because my toppings are going to offer flavor. So I'm just whisking in the olive oil, but I'm going to be oiling my pan. Now, if after a couple of hours or so, if you find that there's a lot of bubbles on the top, you're going to want to skim that off. This is a chickpea flour, and chickpeas are beans. There is no yeast in here to make the batter or the dough foam. So what do you think those bubbles are? Just, think about it. But this is ready, and now I've been preheating my oven, so I want to preheat my pan. So I'm using a little cast iron skillet. If you have a bigger one, go ahead and use that. But before putting this in the oven, I'm gonna oil it, and I happen to have a high heat oil, so this is what I'm going to be using, and I want to liberally get the bottom coated and put this in the oven. The other thing, as I oil this, I do want to kind of go up the sides a little bit. The important thing will be an oven mitt, because cast iron skillets get very hot in a 500-degree oven. Okay, so my hot pan. The other thing that I like this, it's because it's got a spout. So this is going to go in and back into the oven. So here is my first Socca out of the oven. I kept it a little longer to bake because I like my pizzas well done, and I'm treating this like a pizza. So I'm gonna let this cool on a rack. I'm gonna let it kind of set. I'll give it a minute to rest, and then I'm going to put it on a cookie rack or a cookie sheet. Yes, this is what I want, that it's not soggy, and it's perfect. It's hot. So it has a really nice golden brown around the edges. The top is like colored as well, and the bottom is nice and crisp. So letting it set on a rack like this will prevent it from getting soggy. It'll have like air ventilating around, and I will just let this cool off a bit before I add any topping. Sorry, I have to show you. So this is the front, and this is the back. This is so awesome. I think cooking it in a smaller dish gives you more control over how crispy it gets, because I've seen other tutorials that, you know, they're lifting it out of the pan and it's falling apart. So I did it purposely this way. So what I've done, I went ahead and preheated the oven with my cast iron skillet in it. And then I pulled out the skillet, added my oil, put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes to heat the oil. Then I pulled it out, and then I poured my batter in, put it back in the oven until you see the top getting brown. If it doesn't brown after 10, 12 minutes, you want to turn on the broiler for a couple of minutes, and it'll start getting like a mottled brown color on the top, and that's when you know it's done. This is going to be my last one. Okay, so the second one I did was much thinner, as you can see, but again, it will stand up and not fall apart. So, and this is also part of the reason because I let it cool. I'm gonna start preparing this one. I'm gonna do all of tapenade, and I'm not gonna need a lot, but I'm gonna spread some of this on top. And I'm doing this particular topping on this one because it's thinner, and it's not gonna need to be any thicker than this, really. And then I'm going to kind of put my onion on top, and I don't need to use all of it, but it is really good, so we'll see. And I pulled some capers out of the fridge also because I have it, so I'm gonna add some of that as well, and oregano. And I'm so curious, so I'm gonna cut into it. Okay, so I cut just a small piece, and I don't know if you can see my oily hands, of course, but the inside is cooked through. It's good. And this is very much a flatbread because it's so much thinner than the other one. Okay, so for my second one, what I did with my zucchini, I cut them really thin. I put them in ice water to kind of curl a little bit, and then to dry them off, I just wrapped them up in a kitchen towel and put them in the fridge so that they stayed cold. And I'm just gonna arrange some of this on here. If they're too long, I'll just snap it off. So to this, I've put some fresh zucchini, some burrata cheese, some slow roasted tomatoes, and then I'm also gonna do some black pepper. And I'm going to do parsley on this one, and I'm just doing the whole leaves. Or some cilantro too, because I already washed it, so. If you wanted to drizzle some balsamic on this, you can, but I think I'm gonna leave it as is, and I'm just going to pre-cut it, which I really don't want to, but I'm going to. And for my last one, I'm going to slice up my avocado, and I got really lucky with this avocado. It's quite good, and I've already have my carrots and my herbs and some green onion, so this is going to be my final socca. I'm just going to arrange both the carrot and the avocado. And then I'm gonna again do both cilantro and parsley, as well as some green onion, some pepper. I think this one, I'm gonna put a little bit of salt on top. And I'm also gonna drizzle a little bit of lemon, maybe not all of that. And I want to make this easy and have it pre-cut. So same thing, I'm just gonna cut it down the middle. And again, it's sturdy enough that it will stay together. Obviously, this is a blank canvas for anything you want to put on top. I tried out 3 different toppings and they're all pretty good. I think the zucchini, tomato, and burrata might be my favorite, but if I do this again, I will try something else. If you end up making it this thin, you could probably use it to build sandwiches too, honestly. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. It turned out phenomenal. I will be doing this again. I think I'm going to play around with the other larger cast iron comal that I have, which is actually for warming up tortillas or like charring tomatoes and peppers, but I'm going to try doing this. If I do, I may do another video, Socca part 2, but this turned out amazing. If you have any questions or comments, please write them below. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. I actually contemplated using this cast iron comal to make it, but I just cleaned this today and it's just out of the oven, so I want to admire it being clean for a little bit before using it.